Hey, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon for your lunchtime forecast. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and today we're talking about all hazards possible across portions of the northern plains. So what we're watching for here is an isolated tornado risk, damaging wind, and large hail possible. We're also watching for that flooding risk. Not only do we have Texas in that risk, but we're also adding the Carolinas in that as well. We'll talk about exactly where. And temperatures are heating up. So we have temperatures ramping up as we head into August, and we'll talk about exactly where we could expect some of the highest temperatures coming up in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and get to what we saw yesterday. Your storm reports yesterday, once again, high wind across a good portion of the U.S. You can see farther out to Montana, where we talked a lot about those storms in Montana yesterday during our noon forecast. High wind all the way through the central portion of the state down to eastern Idaho, and then as we head farther down to the south, that high wind continued from storms over there. Even down to the south, we were talking about Tucson, Arizona yesterday. That is exactly where we got high wind once again. I'm sure there was blowing dust in this area. However, I didn't see too many reports about low visibility, which is great news, of course. And then taking you farther up to Kansas City and just to the south of Omaha here, we also had some high wind reports there. What about those hail reports? Well, they were pretty few and far between, but we did see some hail reports in Montana all the way down to Idaho. I think the biggest report that I saw was 1.25 inches, so just larger than that quarter-sized hail. 1.25. That was the highest hail report that I saw there. All right, taking you to yesterday's rainfall totals. Once again, we have been watching for that flooding concern farther down to the south and east. That is exactly where we got the most plentiful rainfall. But we did get some sporadic showers and storms that caused that wind issue farther out to the west. We definitely need rain in this area. However, a little bit of rain out here goes a long ways, and that could cause some flooding concerns once again today as well. Your current conditions show showers and storms continuing across the south into Texas and Louisiana. Right along that state line, we have seen just day after day after day of rain here. We've got a good amount of rain through Tennessee, and then farther off to the Carolinas, we've also got some showers and storms. If I take you farther out to the west, that is where we're watching for that severe risk for today. So that'll include places like Denver all the way up to the northern portion of the plains. You can kind of see a line of storms. So we're kind of watching right along this corridor here from western Colorado all the way up to North Dakota. These will be some of our stronger storms that we see later on this afternoon. So what's going to happen here is we're going to take the heat of the day, and it's going to really fuel those storms to be stronger, potentially severe later on this afternoon. We call that diurnal heating. Okay, let's take a look at your temperatures right now. Speaking of heating, it's pretty hot out there, 84 here in Oklahoma City. I thought it was very comfortable this morning while I was walking my dog, but we've been talking about the smoke. That's one of the main things I noticed whenever I was walking my dog this morning is the skies are a little hazy out there. And we'll talk about that fire risk in just a minute, but we do see some hazy skies here in Oklahoma. 87 in Kansas City right now, 80 degrees in Minneapolis. Ooh, looking nice, 75 in Billings. Temperatures are in the 80s and 70s farther off to the east. And then, of course, we've got our winner, as always, Las Vegas at 102. It looks like Las Vegas is the hottest on the board by over 10 degrees today. I hope that you're hydrating if you're in Las Vegas today. Okay, let's take a look at those rain chances or current showers and storms right now. I haven't seen anything go severe yet. However, we could see those stronger showers and storms off to the west. Now here on the East Coast, this will most likely stay non-severe for today. What we're watching for here are some heavy downpours that could cause that flooding issue, especially farther down to the south, where we already have a ton of rain in this area. We're just getting more on top of it. That rain is really struggling to find some place to go. So once that water hits the ground, you can see ponding and flooding on roadways. This out here in western Colorado, this will be the first of a few showers and storms that could go strong to severe later on today. It's going to be a very low chance for severe weather. However, it's definitely possible. Farther up to the north, we're in North Dakota now. You can see that we've got more scattered showers and storms, a little bit more widespread here, and this will be the best chance to see those stronger and severe storms later on today, that in North Dakota. Okay, taking a look down farther into Oklahoma, we're at 84 here in Oklahoma City, 82 down in Norman, 70s and 80s down in Dallas. Hey, not too bad today, 70s and 80s for your lunchtime. Maybe you could sit on the patio if you could find some shade. Okay, feel like temperatures. That's the actual temperature plus the humidity, so the moisture in the air. The higher the humidity, the hotter it's going to feel. It's harder for your body to cool off whenever that humidity is so high, which is why most of our southern and eastern communities are always some of the highest for that feel like temperature, for that heat index. 105 is what it feels like down in southern Florida right now. That is very hot. I hope you're drinking your water as well. Let's talk about the chance for strong to severe storms today. So we need that instability, which it looks like we've got some pretty prominent instability farther up in some of the northern plains area. We need the instability. We also need just the chance for storms here. Will storms actually develop in this area? It looks pretty promising up in North Dakota. However, during the earlier portion of the day, we could see some ingredients inhibiting those storms. We've also got our hail model showing that we've got the most promising areas for hail up in North Dakota as well. This moving over to Minnesota, just right along that state line. But I do want to turn your attention farther down to the south and west, where we could see some hail out in places like Colorado, even up to Denver, if these storms kind of, in this area, storms can oftentimes have a mind of their own as they come over the mountains. I went ahead and put a hail risk for Denver today just because we're right on the edge, okay? I put a low risk there, but you can see we're right on the edge here. So this is your hail risk for today. I'm kind of betting on some smaller hailstones with this, quarter-sized hail, maybe a bit larger than that. I've got a low risk for these storms because I do think that most of them will not produce any hail or any significant hail. It'll be on the smaller side if we do see hail, but it's still possible. As I mentioned, sometimes when these storms come off of the mountain, they do some wonky things and they'll surprise us. So I want you to be prepared for that. We do have a hail risk in this area today. A better chance, however, for those stronger storms to produce larger hailstones up to the size of 1.5 inches, that would be a ping pong ball, up near Grand Forks in North Dakota and into Minnesota. There you go, largest hailstone for today. I'm leaning towards ping pong ball. I was right in between ping pong ball and golf ball sized hail today, so we'll see what we get this afternoon. We'll of course be tracking that here at Hail Trace. Another more widespread threat that we're watching for today is that wind forecast. That wind potential could be a threat anywhere from Minnesota all the way down to the southern portion of South Dakota, even northern Nebraska there. We've also got a wind potential farther out to the west into Nevada, and then down to the south into Tucson, Arizona, where we saw that wind potential yesterday as well. They're kind of having a wash and repeat once again today. Rinse and repeat. There you go. That's the saying. Rinse and repeat again today. Okay, let's take a look at the tornado forecast. I did mention all hazards possible for storms up in North Dakota and Minnesota today. That includes that tornado risk. While it is a low risk, it's still possible. So if you know anyone up in this area, I do want to make sure that they are aware of that risk for today. All hazards possible, as I mentioned, later on this afternoon into the late night hours. I think as the sun sets, that risk will go down pretty significantly. Okay, let's take a look at that future forecast here. I think that's the next thing on our lineup, possibly, if my clicker goes forward. There we go. Okay, future forecast. So here's your radar. This is what we are expecting as we head into the afternoon. We're watching those storms right now. Stronger storms expected as we head into the afternoon and late night hours. This will continue through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning, but I do think it'll be non-severe by tomorrow morning. Taking a look farther down to the south in places like Denver, all the way down into Tucson, we'll see scattered showers and storms. That's starting to ramp up as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, coming through right around your evening commute into Denver. So if you are trying to get home at a certain time, you may give yourself a little extra time on those roadways because they could be wet. You could have lightning and thunder around this time as well. And we talked about that low chance for some small hail in this area as well. Farther down to the south in Tucson, you could see some of those strong winds. The risk for high wind today is lower than what we saw yesterday, but it's still on the board. Taking you farther out to the south and east, we've been talking about that flood risk in places like the Carolinas. This continues all the way down into places like Texas and Louisiana as well, where they are also going to continue to get those showers and storms as we head throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Once again, not only disrupting their lunch plans, but also possibly dinner plans as well. Take your time if you're in this area in places like Houston or even southern Louisiana. As you head home today, your evening commute could get rained on. Okay, let's take a look. That was a lot, right? Of all of the different hazards across the states, here's your recap. Heavy downpours and flooding concerns in the Carolinas. Very similar in southern Texas. Heading off to the west now in places like Tucson, pretty low chance for a severe storm this afternoon and later on tonight, but it is possible. And then as you head farther up to the north into Denver and then just to the east of Denver here, so I'm talking about right along the highway that splits the state and then out to the east, you could see severe thunderstorms. Most of them will be non-severe. However, an isolated severe chance is possible. High wind and small hail will be your biggest hazards there. And then that elevated fire risk farther off to the north and west. Now, this is the fire risk that we've been talking about over the last few days that has brought smoke to a good portion of the country. This fire risk actually extends further down into California. There's a pretty decent sized fire down there as well that's also producing some pretty good smoke. I actually posted a picture of that on our Twitter and our Threads pages yesterday. So if you're curious about where those fires are coming from, that's a great place to check out that picture. You can see the most dense smoke is up in Northern California, Northern Nevada here, all the way into Oregon, and then you can see that goes off to the north central portion of the U.S. as well, the northern plains here. So not only are we dealing with the storms up here, we're also dealing with that smoke and probably those very, very hazy skies. We can see them, as I mentioned, all the way down into Oklahoma City. It was pretty hazy whenever I looked at the sun today. This is also a great opportunity for some beautiful sunsets. The smoke will give more of a red or orange sunset. So tonight, look off to the west, look at that sunset. It will probably have that, we called it yesterday, a Tatooine sunset, which is a Star Wars reference if you get that. Okay, let's take a look at the watches and warnings. We don't have those heat advisories or warnings out to the west today. However, heat is on the way. We have those temperatures warming up as we head into August. Temperatures above average here, and I'll show you that map in just a few minutes. But let's take a look at the radar for tomorrow. Once again, showers and storms continue anywhere from Houston into southern Louisiana. So you could see some flooding as you head over to the head into the weekend. We're looking at showers and storms out near the Mississippi Valley, central portion, Missouri and Arkansas as well. We could see some strong to severe storms over the weekend, so make sure that you are staying weather aware as we head into the weekend as well. Okay, let's talk temperatures here. So your future temperatures as we head into the weekend are looking like the 90s here in Oklahoma City, good portion of the states out to the west, also in the 90s. Mid-90s for Sunday, so temperatures are going up here. That's about average for this time of the year. And then as we head into next week, upper 90s here in Oklahoma City. Did you see that hit 99? We've got 100 down in Texas, 97 in Albuquerque. So you can see this area. We are starting to warm up, and that is not going to stop. Unfortunately, as we head into the first week of August, we have a high likelihood of being above average all the way through August 4th. And I've actually looked a little bit farther out than that, and it looks like most of August we have a high likelihood of being above average as well. So what is this map telling you? It's not telling you how hot it's going to be. It's telling you your likelihood of being above average. So 84 is the average in Chicago for this time of the year, 90 in Denver, and 95 in Oklahoma City. We have a very high likelihood that we will be above these numbers as we head into August here. What about those rainfall totals? Over the next 5 days, we still favor the southern portion of the states and then out to the east. So places like St. Louis, Atlanta, all the way down to Florida, getting some really good rainfall. However, farther off to the west, we're staying pretty dry. This will most likely inhibit those storm chances as well. We could see some storm chances in this area, but we stay mostly dry as we head into the early portion of August as well. So this unfortunately is going to ramp up that fire danger and that drought concern as well. Further off to the east, we still have above average rainfall totals expected here. So thanks for joining us today. Happy Friday, you made it to the end of the work week. As always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We love to see your likes and your comments and everything. If you want to see something in particular on here, you can give us a DM. Also, if you want to see a hail map, a wind map, or a tornado map, we have that at hailtrace.com. If you want to get set up with a plan, you can call us at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. Okay, thanks for joining us on this Friday. We'll see you back here, same time, same place on Monday.